This is the introduction to section 11.2, part 2. And in 11.2, part 2, we're going to talk about cylinders and finding the surface area and lateral area of cylinders. So, we've got two types of cylinders, just like we had two types of prisms. We've got a right cylinder, which is essentially straight up and down, okay, upright in an upright position. In other words, the height is perpendicular to the base, okay? And an oblique cylinder, which you'll notice is a little bit slanted, okay, and it's not perpendicular to the base. So again, the height, if I were to draw it, the height would be drawn outside of the cylinder there as well, okay. Now, most of the time, you're going to be dealing with right cylinders as we look at them. Okay, let's take a look now at finding the lateral area and surface area of a cylinder. So, something you're going to want to put on your formula sheet for cylinders is the fact that as we go through this, we're going to put these on your formula sheet. So to find the lateral area, it's still perimeter of the base times the height of the prism. Now, the difference is on a cylinder, it's made up of two circles and a rectangle. Okay, so when we're finding this, the perimeter is actually the circumference. So when we find the circumference, we're going to take 2 times pi times the radius, and then we're going to take that times the height of the prism. Okay, and take that times the height of the prism. Then, when we get the lateral area, we're going to find the surface area, and the surface area is going to be, again, perimeter times the height, which happens to be the lateral area, plus 2 times the area of a circle. So it's going to be 2 pi r squared. Okay, 2 pi r squared. So you need to make sure you add those two formulas to your formula sheet on cylinders. Okay, let's take a look at this example now. We want to find the lateral and surface area of this example here. So, finding the lateral area, I'm going to use, again, 2 times pi, 2 pi RH. So, 2 times pi times the radius. Now, you'll notice on your sheet, you don't see this because this is darkened in on your sheet. So, you can put this on the bottom if you want. The radius is 11 meters. Okay, so if you want to put this on the bottom where you can see it, make that 11 meters. The radius is 11 times the height of the prism, which in this case, the height of the cylinder, which is 11 as well. Okay, so when I calculate these, I'm not going to leave my answer in terms of pi. We're going to round everything to the nearest tenth. Okay, so when I calculate this, 2 times pi times 11 times 11, I get 760.3, in this case, meters squared. That is the lateral area. Okay, now the surface area. Surface area is the lateral area, 760.3, plus 2 times the area of the circle, which is pi times 11 squared. Well, if I take 2 times pi times 11 squared on my calculator, I end up with 760.3 plus, this is also 760.3. So when I add those two together, I end up with 1,520.6 meters squared. Now, will it always work out that these two, the lateral area and surface area, are the same? No. That will not always work out that way. In this problem, it happens to do that. Okay? And you'll notice your numbers with cylinders are going to be a lot larger. You're going to see pretty large numbers. So that is normal. That's not abnormal. Okay, let's take a look now here at the second example. Find the lateral area and surface area of the right cylinder. Round it to the nearest tenth. So we've got 2.5 feet for a radius. It is 8 feet tall, the cylinder is. So again, finding my lateral area and surface area. What I would do if I were you is hit pause and then calculate what you think it is. Come back and check your answer. Okay, now that you've hit pause, let's take a look here at the actual answer. So, lateral area, I want to take the when I'm looking at this is 2 times pi times the radius, which is 2.5, times the height of the cylinder, which is 8. Okay, so 2 pi times 2.5 times 8, when I calculate that, it ends up being 40 pi, 2 times 2.5 times 8, and when I calculate that to the nearest 10, it's 125.7 feet squared. That's the lateral area. Okay, now the surface area. Surface area, again, is the lateral area, 125.7, plus 2 times pi times the radius, 2.5 squared. Okay, so when I take 2 times pi times 2.5 squared, I end up with 39.3. And when I add 125.7 and 39.3, I end up with 165 feet squared for the surface area. Okay, so here in section 11.2, part 2, we talk about calculating lateral area, surface area of cylinders. Okay, this concludes this section. Don't forget to complete your WSQ.